Welcome to the party, pal. Your friendly neighborhood Master Chaos back with you once again. You find me in Santa Monica, California. We are walking to the Arrow Theater in beautiful Santa Monica. It's nice and cool out here. It's pretty warm where I'm at. It's nice and cool here. And we're going, speaking of nice and cool, stuff's about to heat up. Why is that? Well, because we're going to the world premiere of New York Ninja. That's right, New York Ninja, which is most likely why you clicked on this video. The world premiere, Vinegar Syndrome's first feature film, technically. I'm very curious to see this. I'm hoping for very, very, very good things. I'm trying to temper my response as best as possible, but you know, it's hard to not get excited about a movie. So fingers crossed it'll be good. We've got some celebrities here as well. I'm going to be meeting up with my friend Jeff Mandel, the director of Elves, and we're going to experience the movie. It's a double feature with a mystery Cynthia Rothrock movie. I'll bring you my thoughts on the Cynthia Rothrock movie, the New York Ninja movie, Master Chaos Theater review down the road. So we have to wait a couple days for that one. But I'll see what I can get here. It's probably going to be very crowded. They have a vendor booth set up as well. So I'll film the vendor booth and all that good stuff. And then we'll take it from there. Let's see. I have no idea what's going to happen tonight except the fact that I'm watching 2 kung fu type movies and a lot of cheese, visual cheese, I guess is a good way to put it, will be enjoyed. So join me here for the Neighborhood Master Chaos as we embark on the discovery of New York Ninja.
Back from the dead.
On the corner of Montana and 14th lies the Arrow Theater, Beyondfest, and the line has already started to form for New York Ninja. Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is amazing. I mean, I haven't been to the theater like this, and the smell of the popcorn permeating the seats are great. These trailers are wonderful. This is a great company. I'm very excited.
Are you super stoked to see New York Ninja?
Well, of course. I mean, that's why I'm here. Because I want to see it. This movie was longer in production than any film I've made. I'd like to see how it turned out.
Yeah, me too. The winner of each event will get to spend one night showing a VF trailer. They actually showed a ton of One Dragon and Cynthia Rothrock, so those might be coming down the line one day. You have to watch as well. They had 2 vendor booths set up on either side of the stage. Feel free to pause that menu to see what was available. They pretty much had everything I already have, so I wasn't really interested in getting anything. Also, I left my wallet at home, which I was not happy about. Luckily, I was able to show them my ticket on my phone, so I was good there. But as you can see, they had a wide selection of all the new titles. None of the new stuff that was just announced. The other table, however, did have some out-of-print titles with the slips. The Party Line, the Penitentiary 2, the My Chauffeur. I would have grabbed that My Chauffeur. Also, Pledge Night, Vineyard. They had those slips, which is it's unfortunate. I would have grabbed those, but I didn't have any money. And then, of course, some of the other stuff that came out last month there. They got Duck, Primetime Panic, things like that. Shiva Baby. But, man, fuck, I really wanted that Chauffeur.
When you're Beyondfest, you don't have a lot of money, so if you buy a goddamn land suit, you use it twice and reverse on. Right, first, that's some rules. We have rules in this place. Yes, there are rules. What's that? Exactly. When you're eating food, You can take your mask off. It's chew, chew, drink, swallow, chew. Back mask, mask down, swallow. 2 chews, 3 sips, back the mask. Then it's mask down, fake out, mask back up. Mask comes down again. Now you're drinking. Turn to your friend. That's the rules.
That's the rules. No texting.
No texting.
Yeah. I want to thank our sponsors as always. Start with the American Cinematheque, moving our amazing content. Their volunteer staff and of course projection.
I've been up in the room below.
I also want to thank Hollywood Legion Theatre, who we were at last night with Halloween Kills. Also, Movie and Shudder and IFC Midnights, who've been sponsoring the theaters, and thanks to them, we have 31 free screenings and no serious screenings. Exactly, and there's tickets available for all of them, so make sure you go some films. And then, last but not least, Rockin' Fountain! Hey! What's that, Christian? That's right, who's wearing Rockin' Fountain in the audience tonight? Put your hands up! Right here!
Who's wearing a Rocking Fountain shirt? You're getting it. What's that? Which one? Oh yeah, that guy right there. Thanks, Christian. Now give it to the guy with the shirt on.
Shame on you! Of course, the rest of you don't get Rockin' Fountain shirts, so, sorry. But it is tradition that we make a shirt every year. Brad, tell them about it.
All right. Well, maybe Christian will say about it. Christian? That's a hilarious story about Malignant. Thanks, Christian. There's a part in the what? Yeah, there's that part in Malignant where he goes, that says, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then once you put that, Christian, he put what the fuck Beyondfest under it!
And of course, we have the Beyondfest tradition. He's got a gun. Let's see.
I'd like to thank Phil Tippett for this amazing costume. He arrived days early. He built this out of other Beyondfest t-shirts, a lamb costume. And I bought this from Halloween Town. Don't buy a ninja mask from Halloween Town.
The t-shirts fit into the gum. This is a disgrace.
No, there's some of them, dude. Anyway, about Halloween Town. Don't buy a mask. It's just 2 pieces of black cloth. 20 bucks. Found that in the alley. Parachute. All right.
What else we got, Christian? That's right. Tonight we are blessed to have the premiere of New York Ninja. And honestly, we've been working on this screening. I'm going to take this off for a second. We've been working on this
I
screening
knew
for
it.
2 years.
I knew it's everywhere the whole time.
And, it wouldn't have worked at all with our partners at Vinegar Syndrome, who did absolutely amazing. And, there's no one better to introduce the film than 2 of the team, Curtis Spiller and Brad Henderson. Come on up!
All right, what's up, Beyondfest? How's everybody doing tonight? Y'all ready to see some fucking ninjas?
Oh, yeah!
All right, so I'm Curtis Spiller from Vinegar Syndrome.
I'm Brad Henderson from Vinegar Syndrome.
I'm sure most of you know who Vinegar Syndrome is, and if you don't, check out our booth. It's over there. Well, it was over there. It's coming out now. Anyway, we do film restoration and preservation, and that's kind of how this whole thing came about. So for the people who don't know, New York Ninja was originally shot in 1984, and it was directed by and starring a man named John Liu. Some people may know who he is. He was a martial arts actor back in the 70s. The film was never finished in 84 and was essentially abandoned. And it sat on shelves for probably 35... Was that?
Too long.
Too long. It sat on shelves for about 35 years. And Vinegar Syndrome, we found all the original unedited camera rolls in our film archive. The only problem was all the sound elements were missing. So over about a 2-year process, we've been putting this film back together. And we got some of our favorite genre actors who have all appeared in other Vinegar Syndrome movies to come in and dub the voices. There's a band named Voyager 3, some of you may know who they are. They made kick-ass music, and they came in and they did an original score for the movie. So that's what you're gonna see tonight, and let me tell you, it's fucking crazy.
And just to clarify, when he says sound, every sound element, every footstep, everything that you hear has been reconstructed.
Yeah. So you guys are gonna watch the movie afterwards. We have a little behind-the-scenes doc, about 45 minutes long, that sort of chronicles kind of what we did to bring this thing back to life. And then after that, there's going to be a Q&A. We have some special guests that I think you're going to want to stick around for, and I'm sure a lot of you are going to have questions. So, yeah. With that said, let's roll the fucking movie.
37 years we waited to see that masterpiece on the big screen. So, here's how it's going to go. I'm going to introduce to you the directors of the documentary you're about to watch. They're going to do a quick intro. We'll watch the documentary. It's about 45 minutes. And then we'll be back for a Q&A with a lot of talent. With a lot of special talent. But first, you're about to watch a great documentary that covers the mystery and the history of New York Ninja. And to do it, I have its two creators. Please welcome to the stage, Michael Kingle and Glenn Baisley.
Thank you very much. So I guess our first thanks have to go to Vinegar Syndrome for giving us a chance to get the documentary and back to see. We've done, I guess, 3 full-length documentaries for them. This is the first one in which almost nobody from the film was willing to talk to us about it. For various reasons, a number of people, including John Liu, for reasons you'll about to find out, would go on camera to talk about the making of this movie. Fortunately, we did find a few people, including Adria Meltzer, who graciously did an interview for us, and several of the voice talent, as well as the Vinegar Syndrome folks themselves. But we also decided to take an opportunity to kind of give everyone a primer on the career of John Liu before this film. I'm not sure how many people are familiar with everything he did in the Asian film scene before he came to this movie. So the doc you're about to watch will kind of give you the background on that. And for that, I really have to thank our two of the key people on camera, Chris Pajali and Grady Hendricks. We also did a great new book on martial arts called These Fists Break Bricks, and without whom this documentary would not have been possible. So thanks again to Vinegar and everyone else who contributed to this documentary, and thanks to all of you for hanging around to watch it.
Like Mike said too, nobody really wanted to talk about this, so when you do a project like this, it's very easy to go down a rabbit hole, and you know, we couldn't have gone down a better rabbit hole without Vinegar Syndrome's support for doing it. You know, such a collaborative effort in putting this project together. It was one of these things where as you start to work on the project, and you'll see in the documentary, you know, we quickly discovered it's like one piece connected to another, and this person knew the other person, and you know, before we knew it, we finally had the story. We were a little scared going into it at first because so many people didn't want to talk about the project, but you know, I mean, it's an amazing endeavor that they were able to put this project together. And after so many years, I mean, we got to see little bits and pieces of it from the beginning, and we're glad that everybody now has got to share in this, and the story about what they've been able to achieve in putting this movie is now going to be told.
And personally, having grown up and lived and worked in New York City all my life, I love things like this, little grassroots New York area projects. I'm sure some of you noticed certain similarities to the Toxic Avenger in there. These two movies were made at almost the same time. Neither one could have been influenced by the other. So it's really interesting to see how much the movies had in common. And I also want to thank someone else you'll see up here, Paul Morano, one of the few people we found who worked on it, who did want to talk about it. By complete coincidence, he was someone we talked to for Silent Madness, the previous documentary we did. At the time, all we would have had to do is say, hey, what did you work on after Silent Madness? He would have said, oh, this movie called New York Ninja.
It's a small world.
As it turned out, we only found out by complete coincidence he worked on it about 6 months later. So we got him in there, and that's about all. I hope you guys enjoy it, and thanks again for coming out tonight.
People's Republic of Beyondfest, New York Ninja, and re-enter the New York Ninja. Can we have on stage, of course, first Curtis Spiller and Brad Henderson! I'd also like to invite on stage some of the cast. Please welcome to the stage Cynthia Rothrock, Don the Dragon Wilson, Leonard Kennedy, and Andrea Nota, please! I think this is the most we've had on stage. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. We are truly in the company of legends. I'm going to start by asking you guys. Obviously, we've seen the documentary, so we're allowed to, buy and work for us. But how did that feel just now? Watching you with an audience.
Yeah. Well, like I said at the beginning of this was 2 years. 2 years it took to work on this. And when I first started editing it, because of Vinegar Syndrome's strict schedule, I really was stuck working nights and weekends on it for probably the first at least 6 months. So like 7 days a week, I was working on movies for Vinegar Syndrome and this movie. So there was a lot of hours spent working on this. And after all of that work, it feels really good to be here with an audience watching it. Because while I'm sitting there by myself at this computer, on a weekend alone, just working on this thing, I'm seeing this, and I'm like, these people have to see this. This is crazy. He's on freaking roller skates, or So I was seeing this stuff for like months and months, and I just wanted everybody to finally see it. So now that it's actually here, I'm pretty excited. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I
can tell you people are talking about it online already.
Just thank you. Thank you for everybody being here. Thanks for staying. Thanks to Vinegar Syndrome for hiring us. And this is one of our big projects, so we couldn't be more thankful. And thank you for everybody that worked on this thing. There's so many people. It's quite ridiculous, and thank you, Beyondfest.
Yeah, I know they're in the credits, but I have to give a big shout out to the company 3Beep out of New York, because they did all of the sound work, which is a huge undertaking. So, we at Vinegar Syndrome, we casted like the main roles, so people like Cynthia and Don and Leon, we casted them from our Vinegar Syndrome universe, but all the like additional punks and thugs and all that kind of stuff, those were all voice actors from 3D, and so they brought in their talent, and they deserve a ton of credit, much like Voyager 3, who they're back there right there, and I think they should stand up.
What an amazing score.
It's one thing for me to edit a silent picture. It's another thing for everybody else to come in and fill in all that sound. You look at the scene where they smashed up the car, but there wasn't a single sound there, and you watch it, and it's almost flawless. So, like I said, I have to give a lot of credit to both Voyager 3 and 3D for all their hard work. So,
I'm going to ask you a question, Adrienne. What was it like visiting a film? After so long you'd filmed it.
It was surreal. First of all, there was no cast sheet or call sheet, so they didn't know who I was, basically. And I did not put it on my resume. I didn't. And my agent just said, "Oh, come on, go do it," because I was doing a lot of hosting and recording and those kind of jobs, and then simultaneously acting. But I'm always cast as the reporter. That seemed to be like my thing. And anyway, Brad then called me 2 years ago.
What was that first like when you got that phone call back?
I thought it was a prank call. And I truly almost hung up. And then I said, wait a minute, be kind. And so then Brad explained it to me, and I still didn't understand it. It was just, I said, what do you mean? First of all, how did you find me? I'm not listed, I'm not on social media. I'm like, how did you find me? And he was so persistent. And I said, well, I'll think about it. And then I didn't return his phone call. 3 months later, Brad called back. And he said, we actually had someone named Lynn do your voice. And I said, nice. Oh, good. I'm glad you found someone to do it. It had already been completed by the time he found me. So I just had the brakes on the whole time. And then finally I just said, no, this could be fun. And then he sent me the finished product. And he said, we want to interview you for the documentary. And of course, during COVID, I couldn't put it off. And finally, I think that interview was done in August. I finally said, okay, let's go for it. And I'm glad I did. It's really fun.
And it's such an honor to have you here with us. It's so happy.
I just wanted to jump in too because, again, I have to give a lot of credit to the original cast and crew. We don't know who any of them are. It's frankly kind of sad. I hope people kind of come out of the woodwork. I know some people we found had passed away, but we put in at the end of the credits a thank you to the original cast and crew because really Adrian's the only one we found. I mean, in terms of the cast, we found a couple of other people. We figured out who their names were and they had passed away. And we haven't been able to unearth anybody, so, a lot of people did a lot of hard work on that movie, and, unfortunately they can't really get the credit now, but hopefully maybe they'll come out of the woodwork and we'll figure out who some people are and, add them to IMDb at least so that they can get the recognition that they deserve, so.
Maybe also ask what the fuck was going on.
Yeah, that's true. The more stories, because really, like Carl Morano, he was a godsend. Thank you to Michael and Glenn for finding him. I mean, yeah, there they are. And, because without him, he had the most information that we got from anybody on the original production. We did come across a few people, and they were like, I don't know, I don't have anything to say. And then they would just, that was it. They were like, that was a movie, I don't know, I worked on it, we ran into that a lot.
Well, we also, when we were in production, we found on YouTube a video by Wrong Style Bob. He did the ending song, so it's original, so it's original production. And we found Wrong Style Bob, and he had no script, he had no idea what was going on either. He just made a song, and we were actually able to get it, so that's...
Yeah, that end song, that rap song was originally made in 1985 by Wrong Style Bob. We got super lucky. Once again, that was Michael, I think, unearthed that. I mean, he did a deep dive on, he knows a lot about New York production, so he did a deep dive on a lot of it and found that song, and I was like, holy shit, they made a song for this movie? That's crazy. But nobody had scripts, nobody had anything that could help us, It was just, we'd run into these people and they'd have stories or whatever, but there was nothing to help us finish the movie, we kind of had to do that sort of on our own.
I'm going to ask a question to Cynthia, Don, and Leon. So, you guys are amazing actors and have incredible careers, but with this one it's a little bit different. You're helping finish someone else's work. And you have to go in and inhabit these characters without being actually act entirely. You're using your voices and your inclinations and stuff. How was it as an experience for you as an actor? you can all answer one by one.
Well, it was really fun for me. I mean, I'm always up for something different and unusual, and that's kind of where I gravitate to. When you first called me and said, yeah, you know, I found this movie, and I'm used to, you know, doing Hong Kong movies, and they filmed them without sound, so I could see how it could have got lost, but no script, and I was like, okay, and he goes, well, Don is doing it. So I hung up and I called Don. I said, Don, are you doing this film? You know, there's no sound, and we just got to go and do the voices. And he was like, yeah. I said, okay. And then we were sitting back there and we were talking, like saying, did John Liu think of this as a comedy, or was it like as a serious movie? You know, because it was quite funny, you know, him popping up here and there and doing the movements, you know, very slapsticky. But I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. I only saw the lines, you know, that I had to do, so I never seen the movie completely, and I'm so impressed. You guys did a great job, and I think it's going to be a big hit, because I think people like something that is so different, that is so creative, you know, and yeah, John should see the movie.
I hope so.
Nope. We'll try.
Well, I'm like Cynthia. I've been in the business for 40 years now, and anything different is kind of already perks my ears. I said, oh yeah, I've never done that before. So I had never done any voiceovers for a movie like this. I mean, just a few lines in my film, like Cynthia, but I didn't understand what I was getting into either. Because getting this guy's performance over the top would be, you know. So I think I might have mentioned to somebody in the room when I was doing it, is this movie a comedy? And they assured me that if it turns out funny, then it'll be fine. It'll be fine. So I hope everybody enjoyed it. I definitely laughed a lot tonight, so it was comedy for me anyway.
I'm going to answer your question, but first of all, I want to say this. As a filmmaker, you have to just sit back and really applaud the team effort that this team did to have this mosaic, giant jigsaw puzzle and make it come together. So can we hear it from the team? And then also, when I came in, I was listening to the laughter and the comments and so on and so forth. And I said to the person next to me, I said, what a loving, appreciative audience. So give yourselves just a big hand for being great film lovers. So in answering your question, what it was like, you had mentioned that I had not been doing anything in the industry for about the past 15 to 18 years, because actually I left Hollywood and went into ministry. So I've been in ministry for the past 15, 18 years and really was paying no attention to Hollywood at all. And it was about 3 years ago where it was put in my spirit, always continue to do ministry, but it's time to come back now, use Hollywood as a platform to do good and start doing, start doing transformational films. Films that motivate and inspire people, et cetera, et cetera. So that's what I had been gearing up for. So then I got this call. And and it sounded weird and intriguing at the same time. So I said, well, let me call you back. And then I said, you know, this sounds like it could be fun. So count me in. And then I had always been threatening to work with these two anyway. So now we got to work together vicariously. So at any rate, that's how I got involved, and the people were just so nice and so gracious. So it's been really an effort of love on their part, and this is a great night. So thank everyone.
Thank you.
Actually, I just wanted to comment on that because I don't know if you remember Leon or not, but so initially, we had to do all the voice recording remotely because we did all the voice recording in 2020 during the pandemic. So all the sessions were done remotely. Basically, the way it would work would be 3B would be set up in New York. We would find a studio that was closest to wherever the talent was. They would go into their booth. We would remote link. I would remote link in at Vinegar Syndrome and sit in on the sessions, and then that's how we did everything. But prior to that, we had to do like Zoom calls with everybody. And I remember Leon's Zoom call specifically because one of the things that he said, which meant a lot to us, is that he respected the preservation work that we're doing. We put out a couple of his movies, penitentiary films, which you've never seen now. And I remember specifically Leon saying, like, what you guys are doing is great because there's so many films out there that would just fall by the wayside if people didn't care about them. And, you know, beyond just New York Ninja, you know, that's something that Vinegar Syndrome is really all about is, you know, it's one thing for people to preserve and restore movies like Citizen Kane and all the stuff that, you know, Scorsese does with all the restoration he does, but, you know, we dig in the dirt to find what we find, you know, and there's some awesome movies out there, and so, you know, I hope everybody out here appreciates, you know, not just companies like Vinegar Syndrome, but companies like ours that are doing this kind of stuff. So, Leon, I just want to say thank you for that because that actually meant a lot to us.
I'm going to throw it open to the room now, so make it good questions. Any questions? Right, let's start there.
Well, I mean, first, congratulations to everybody. It was really fantastic, and I really loved watching it with everybody. But my question is, and I don't know if you'd be able to answer it, it looks like there are certain scenes where John Lewis dressed as the ninja that don't look like him at all, especially when he's doing the roller skating. I'm like, that's not John Liu. Would you happen to have any idea who that might be?
There's three. Yeah, I think there's three different people. So,
okay.
The guy who played Rat Tail, as I call him,
okay.
He's doubling for the ninja a lot. So, I can't necessarily say what happened on set, but you can definitely tell John handled all the, because I've gone through all the footage and, you know, you start to kind of pick up on things. John did all the martial arts because that's what he's good at. A lot of like the flipping and like the what I would say is like stunts were handled by, I think, Rat Tail, and then there was another guy.
Jeff Iorio was the villain who actually killed John's wife.
Yeah, he's
one of
very
the
powerful.
opening scenes, and he became, truthfully, my closest friend. And we stayed in touch for years. I think that was the greatest gift of this movie for me. And sadly, he passed away at a very young age. Getting an award for martial arts on a stage, he got hearted. And that just devastated me. It took me decades. I still am not over it. It's such a beautiful tribute to his incredible life. He was an amazing, amazing man.
Let's throw it out there again. Oh, right at the back.
You're basically retroactively writing a script based on the footage that you found. Was there anything that just made no sense at all that you had to then cut out?
The entire movie.
Well, so in the docket, it kind of covered it briefly, but so what I had to do was just basically go by the slate. So the slate at the beginning of each shot would tell me the scene and the take and all that kind of stuff. Now, who knows if it was right, because low budget productions, the slate isn't always right. Sometimes they just do it to get it done. Luckily, their slate seemed to be pretty well, done pretty well. So when I was editing, all I could do was just go through each camera roll, find the slate, find whatever shot, take, scene, whatever, and just put them in a bin, and then start to figure out like which scenes were finished and which ones weren't. When I did that, I compiled a group of like what I would consider finished scenes or scenes that I thought I would be able to finish that would be like cohesive, and I laid them all out in the order that the slate had them. And that's when I did that, that made no sense. So that's when I was like, okay, we've got an issue here. So, but that's where we knew we had the freedom to move things around. So now it became sort of just figuring out, like I would take notes as I went through and kind of be like, okay, I think that's what this scene is about, or that's what I can make this scene about, and start moving them around. I think probably one of the prime examples is the scene where the detective and the guy that I call the pale man are walking in the alley talking. I have no idea why that scene is there, but it was like a saving grace because they're walking, it's kind of over their shoulder, you can't really see what they're saying, and I was able to cram in as much exposition in one scene. Nobody had any idea like what was going on with the plutonium killer, like what his whole deal was. So I was like, all right, this guy looks British, I'm gonna make him British. He works for Interpol, because it's an 80s movie, so of course he'd be from Interpol. There's an international prostitution ring, and he's got plutonium powers because he works for CIA. The best that I could, and, so it was stuff like that. You know, some of the stuff at the beginning, you know, kind of followed the order of which it was supposed to be.
The ending too. There's no ending in the movie. Right?
Yeah, there was no ending. The helicopter stuff was unfinished. And so
is that a bomb?
Yeah. So it looked like they were kind of like shooting the helicopter stuff, trying to figure it out. Like some of it almost seemed like it was just test footage. And I took like every ounce of the helicopter stuff that they had and like tried to make this thing work. And I was like, how the hell are we gonna end this movie? And I was like, well, you know what? We've all seen ninja movies. A lot of times they're almost like, they just kind of keep pulling shit out of nowhere. And he does in this movie too. Like, he has a sword here and he's got the claw and stuff like that. And I was like, maybe he's got a bomb. Well, it's funny. So, 21st Century Distribution, they have a movie called Executioner Part 2, which is a movie that we put out. That explosion was actually from there. And so I was watching it because I wanted to use everything from the movie itself. Like, I didn't want to use any new footage or anything like that or shoot anything. Like, the goal was to try to make the movie work as best as possible. So I was like, okay, now we need an explosion. So I just pulled the explosion from another 21st century movie because, again, like we said in the doc, like we just tried to imagine that we were in the 80s and somebody brought us this movie that they couldn't finish, and we're like, hey, finish this movie, you know? And so I just put myself in that editor mind frame, and like what, you know, like exploitation films of that time, what would they have done? And you know somebody in the room would have gone, well, we got this stock footage of an explosion, maybe we can use that for something, you know? And it's like, all right, let's do that. So I just overlaid that over the helicopter, which just was a random helicopter shot that they grabbed during the movie that I happened to find, and I was like, thank God. And I threw an explosion on it, and bam. There you go, that's how it ends. So.
All right, we got time for one more. Anyone got a good? Oh, there's two. Let's go for that one.
Is there like another restoration project that you guys are working on like this caliber, like this much effort trying to work on?
Well, I will say currently no, but we are on the look for more. I mean, this was something that fell into our lap, like almost literally. So, and will we be able to recreate something like this? Like, probably not. But we know that there's a lot of other lost films out there and unfinished films. And so part of Vinegar Syndrome Pictures, which is what we've created to do like original productions, to purchase films off the festival circuit, all that. One of the goals for Vinegar Syndrome Pictures is to potentially find more movies that need some level of production to finish them. And so yeah, that's hopefully there will be more to come.
LA Ninja.
LA Ninja.
Yeah. Well, LA Ninja would be an original production. That was you know, when I was trying to finish the movie, I needed something. I needed like another kicker at the end of the movie. You know, I'm a fan of Sonny Chiba's Street Fighter, and I love the way that the movie just ends, and then all of a sudden it's like, you know, Sonny Chiba will return in Street Fighter 2 or however, you know, it's written, and I was like, oh, we totally gotta just put in LA Ninja.
Get ready, Don.
Yeah, get ready, Don. But also my goal is that hopefully if people get excited enough and really want it, maybe there actually will be an LA Ninja. So.
Yes.
So I just want to say, before we close that, we show a lot of films and they're always in screenings, but there's something I particularly love about these films that are restored lovingly by a band of lunatics that were lost to time, that would have been lost completely. And, it's very hard to sort of like get fanboyish, but to be in the presence of such amazing actors and what the work these guys have done, I'm genuinely humbled. So I just want you to give a huge round of applause to Team back for a very secret screening of a Cynthia Rothrock movie.
So we just got out of New York Ninja. I'm gonna wait to give you my review, but my buddy Jeff here, the director of Elves, we've had him on the show before. He's gonna give us his impressions of New York Ninja.
Well, first of all, my overall impression is that to rescue this film from the various pieces that existed, and the fact that it's a very interesting story that he lined them up according to the slates. And it made no sense whatsoever. Not that it made much more sense the way he re-edited it. It had aspects that I'm sure you and I are going to be discussing. I have no idea, no understanding. But the print was beautiful. I don't think I've ever recommended a film because of its color timing, but it was so silly, and it was so sad to see this great martial artist who had been such a part of so many great films.
Yeah, historical, yeah.
And then to come down to be this one of his last films, and I understand he's living in a shack now in Vietnam. But what they did here, what they did was create a new film that was fun.
Yeah.
It was funny. The action was a little bit stiff, if you ask me.
Oh, I thought the action was awful. Yeah, really bad choreography.
Considering, and he did the choreography himself.
Yeah.
But when you consider the fact that it was followed by a surprise screening of a Hong Kong film.
Oh, yeah.
That had Sammo Hung, Choi Hark. It was directed by one of the Yuan brothers.
Yuen Hua? No.
I don't remember which one.
But yeah, so the second feature was Yes, Madam.
The action was unbelievable and unbelievably painful, and Cynthia Rothrock was great. Cynthia Rothrock,
amazing.
All of the sound was recreated for the New York Ninja, and she did one of the voices. But to see her doing the action like she did. And to have her there, watching the film herself and hearing the audience reaction, I always thought when we inadvertently would go, wow, and I think when she's sitting back there and she heard us all go, wow, that must be great for her.
Yeah, of course.
New York Ninja was kind of pathetic in aspects. There was a pathos to it as a filmmaker.
Yeah,
that I realized this,
appreciated.
Yeah, but I would be happy if my film were recreated and reconstructed in this way.
Well, hopefully, luckily none of yours need that happening. That doesn't have to happen to yours, is what I'm saying.
Well, we don't know yet.
We don't know. What would you give it, a thumbs up or thumbs down?
I'd give it a thumbs up. For what it is, and understanding how it was created.
Right.
As a movie, if I was just going out and seeing this movie, I'd say,
Okay, so based on the environment of the movie's recent production, it definitely gets a thumbs up because of how difficult it was to bring to life.
Because it was incredible. I mean, it was
an
incredible piece of filmmaking from the post standpoint, making these pieces make sense. The acting was the Hong Kong exaggeration, but without the humor and the great action. So it's just sitting there in the New York street, overreacting. I wouldn't recommend this to a friend except to other filmmakers to see how it was done.
Yeah,
and I look
I see
forward
that.
to, and I would look forward to seeing what they might do in the future. The Vinegar Syndrome.
Yeah,
did the job they did was incredible.
All right, well, you heard it here. The director of Elves has chimed in. I'm going to give you my review in a couple of days. I'm not going to do it in this one. I'm not. Yeah, you won't know.
So
well, I'll tell you off
so
camera.
you let me speak off the cuff.
I'll tell you off camera.
Press anything, prepare anything.
No, I'll tell you off camera, but you guys will have to wait.
Okay.
And that has been the world premiere of New York Ninja here at the Arrow Theater in Santa Monica. Jeff, thank you for joining me tonight.
Oh, gosh, thank you for inviting me.
And thank you for watching. By the way, Yes, Madam was the second feature. That was Cynthia's movie. That might be coming from Vinegar Syndrome. They didn't say yes. They didn't say no.
That's a great movie.
It's a good movie.
You know, somebody
good
gets
fight
an
movie.
idea. Oh, let's do something in a pool hall, and then just suddenly the movie cuts, and there you are in a pool hall for no reason.
Yeah.
All the Hong Kong movies had that kind of like, oh, I got an idea. Let's go do this.
Exactly.
But it was great.
It was good.
Incredible action.
Great.
Some of the great action directors playing parts in the film.
Yes.
And directed by another of the Yoons.
Amazing. Hopefully that'll be coming soon. I don't know. That might be the one that they hinted at for Black Friday. Fingers crossed. We'll see what it is.
Cynthia Rothrock is always great.
Oh, she's amazing. And she's better in Hong Kong movies than American movies, in my opinion. I think her
because she's dubbed in.
What you're saying? No. I'm saying her fighting style is way better. Like her fights are way better.
Of course, she has the top choreographers there and the whole
amazing
teams,
fights.
You know,
you can't beat it. Anyway, we'll let you go. Thank you so much for watching. This has been your friendly neighborhood Master Chaos and Jeff Mandel. And we'll see you soon. We love you just the way you are. Take care. Signing off for now.